Are you staring at a blank canvas or blank page, feeling pressure to create something amazing, but feeling stuck, lost, not creative? Stop scrolling, stop watching the next video and looking for inspiration, because I have actionable steps in this video and inspiration that we're going to take action right now. Hi, my name is Kristina Moyer. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I'm excited to share some ideas on how I stay inspired as an artist. Some days you have rough days, but you still need to create. So how do we get through that and push past those moments? All coming up right now. But what I want you to do is grab a sketchbook, because this is interactive. This is not one of those videos where you're gonna sit there and, oh, those were great ideas, and not try any of them. I want you to take action, because I've been there. You keep watching video after video, you're like, oh, this is a great idea, and then you go to the next video, there's another idea, and then you get sidetracked and the algorithm starts giving you all these other ideas, and then by the time you realize that you could get started, you feel exhausted mentally, and I don't want to do that to you. So grab your sketchbook or grab some paper, grab whatever medium you want, pencil, crayon, marker, doesn't matter. Just grab something to create and let's get started. Now, before I start getting into these secrets, they're probably not things you don't already know. Wait, that's too many negatives. These are things you probably already know. Wow, the Sharpie is getting to me already. This is probably just a refresher, but you can also take notes if you like, or just see the chapters that I've selected if you need to jump from one to the other, or save this video in case you need to come back to it and not have to bother writing down all of these things. So let's just get into it. So I have my first secret is to embrace a routine. Routines build habits. Like, that's how you build a habit, is through creating a routine. So I want you to think of something that you already do every day. What is something that you do every day for sure? Is it you always have breakfast? Is it you brush your teeth? Is it like something that you're definitely gonna do every day? This isn't something where it's like, well, I might do it, might not. Must be something you do every day. This is how you habit stack. You take something that's already part of your routine and you add something with it. Okay? So most recently, I've been walking with a weighted vest. That's one way for me to get more exercise while walking my dog, which I'm already doing anyways. So adding the weighted vest is increasing my physicality, my strength, and so that's a habit stacking thing. There's a lot of different warm-ups you can do, or maybe there'll be things that you can implement, but for right now, so I can get you drawing and get you doing something, I'm gonna take a page, I'm gonna take whatever material you decided on, and I'm going to scribble. That's right, I'm going to scribble. I'm just gonna loosely scribble, be free. Don't be like, oh, my scribble has to be like a stop that. Just scribble. And I'm gonna stop when I've covered plenty. I don't even know if you saw me scribble, but I'm gonna stop. I'm going to stop when I have my page mostly covered, or just when I feel like stopping. I mean, if you want to keep scribbling till it's like completely covered, sure. But this is basically just warming yourself up, giving yourself kind of that allowance to just make marks without, that pressure that I was talking about. So once you've created that, there's tons of different things you can do. You can start Zen doodling. You can find an image within this and start sketching. You can practice shading. So depending on what material you selected, so you could start doing some little doodle lines. If you need some inspiration, just follow along what I'm doing, or just like let your hand flow. Just start filling in these little gaps. You can grab some pencil crayons and just color them in. Maybe set a timer for like 5 minutes, and that's just a way to get yourself creating. Your mind is gonna start thinking of ideas of what you want to create, and you might move on to that. Or if you already have a set thing that you want to work on, then you can work on that thing. But the idea is just to be able to establish a sense of, I'm going to create every day. Okay, when I talk, I start getting hot. So I need to take this off. Oh my goodness. This is not rated for under 18. No, just kidding. Okay. So now that I'm feeling it's starting to get warm here where I live in Canada, right? So I don't live in an igloo. Okay. Next up, seek inspiration everywhere. There are going to be moments where inspiration is more obvious. When I'm going for my morning walks with my dog, and it's like one of those sunrises where it's just blows your mind. Like one time this past season, I almost started crying. It was so beautiful. Like it was just the most beautiful sunrise. So those are kind of more obvious moments of what inspires you. But what about just every day, or being able to have inspirational moments that aren't just once a year? I want you to grab your phone, open up your photo gallery. Because guess what? Typically, we take photos of things that we like, moments that make us happy, whatever reason you might have these photos, they matter to you for some reason, right? Look through and see, what have I been taking pictures of? What do I take pictures of with my camera? I start scrolling. For me, I see my dog. I see photos of nature from our walks. So there's all these reasons why I have these photos in here, but that will help you to see what inspires you. Like if you don't even know what inspires you, look in your photo gallery of your phone and see. Now, if you don't have a photo gallery, there might be other things that you're saving. So if you save certain or subscribe to certain magazines, or maybe go on Facebook and just scroll and see who you follow, like what groups you're following. That will give you some idea. Like, do you follow the gardening group in your city? Do you follow community pages? Is it political stuff? Like, what is inspirational to you? That is one way to kind of see, like, if you don't even know what inspires you. For me, it's not hard to find inspiration in nature. Doesn't matter what season it is, and where I live, it's mostly wintry, so I can see, so some people, you know, especially that in between winter to spring kind of time, or, you know, fall time when all the leaves are gone and you don't have that beautiful snow coverage yet, you just kind of have, you know, that kind of in-between season. You might think it's not as beautiful. Well, yeah, okay, maybe it's not like when the cherry blossoms are out and you're feeling like, but there's still things to be inspired by. For me, being out in nature, walking, moving your body will help your mentality. So if you're stuck in your studio all day, or you're stuck in a room all day, and you don't have any sunlight, or you don't have great windows, you know, whatever your situation, if you can get outside every day, that's going to help inspire your creativity. So right now, if you want, go outside. I thought it'd probably make sense for me to actually come outside. So step outside. I want you to take actionable steps. So right now, go outside and look at your surroundings and just enjoy the outdoors. You may not be able to do this right now, but you could also go check out a local gallery. If you have a museum in your city or town, go check that out. Make a plan to see that sometime this week. Make plans to visit them frequently and see what's out there. Even if it's not your style or genre, go check out what's out there, because seeing original art always inspires me. So whenever I go to a gallery, I'm like, okay, I want to go home and create right now. So if you're feeling stuck and you have the time, you can go do that right now if you can. Or make a plan for later today or later sometime this week, but don't put it off too far away, otherwise it just won't happen. You can even get inspiration by the books you're reading, or, you know, visiting a library even. Just, there's other ways to be inspired, listening to inspirational stories, podcasts, those things can inspire you to create as well. So there really is inspiration everywhere. I just want you to open your eyes because it's there. Okay, let's keep going with these secrets because I think I got stuck on number 2 a little long. So there is a lot to be inspired by. What can I say? Number 3 is keep an inspirational journal. Now, you don't actually have to have a physical journal, but a couple things that actually work for me as journals. One is my sketchbook. I find my sketchbook to inspire creativity as I, browse through random things that I have in it. It helps me to think of, it just helps me to be inspired. It helps me to think of an idea that maybe I sketched down, that maybe I haven't actually pursued, that, hey, maybe now's the time I'm feeling that energy and I'm ready to start creating that thing. There's also a lot of digital inspirations. I use Pinterest the most for my inspiration boards. So whether that's, other artists who inspire you, just paintings that you love, or scenes. Like on Pinterest, you can search anything, right? So it could be if you're looking for portraits, maybe there's a specific type of portrait you're looking for. You just want to create your own board of ideas of what you want to do next for a project. Maybe you don't want to do it right now, but you're building up that kind of space for when you're ready to create and you have time that you can go do that. So if you haven't already, start a journal. If you don't have a sketchbook, get a sketchbook and start using it with that in mind. Or take a look at your sketchbook right now and see, is there anything in there? Like I have this painting here, like, is this something that I would like to recreate into a larger piece or put it onto something else? Those are some ideas that you can use for a sketchbook. Another thing that I do is as I go about my day-to-days, like I said, taking photos on my walks, those things are then in my photo gallery on my phone. And okay, I take a lot of photos, so there's a lot on here. So that can be overwhelming. So what I want you to do is, if you have your phone right now, you can create a little folder or a favorites. And so in here, I can create albums. And so I can create my own. I have one that's for, to print, that are just photos of my family. I have Alberta skies. So I just created one that's just skies that I really love, and you can't really see. But you can create an album. So what I want you to do right now is, you've already looked through the photos that you have. What was a theme that stood out to you for things that inspire you? Create an album right now and add 5 to 10 photos right away. Because if you already have a few photos, might as well add, 5 to 10 if you can add those fairly quickly. And as you go about week to week, you can add more. So maybe even set a time if you want to be that scheduled. You can plan a time each week, maybe on a day where you have some time to reflect your week and your planner and that kind of thing, and reflect and say, okay, what photos did I take? Look through them and add 1 or 2. You don't have to add 5 to 10 every time. And even right now, you don't necessarily have to add 5 to 10. It's just to get it started, so you have some substance to that particular album, and it's not just one photo, because that won't feel very inspiring if it's this is the one thing I can create and that's it. So having a group of photos, it always helps. I use it often because there might be something that stands out to me, oh, I want to paint that, but right now it's not quite the time for whatever reason. Maybe I have other projects, or I'm just not feeling it right this moment, but I know that I want to create it in the future, or I think that it would be a really beautiful addition to a potential series that I want to create or something like that. If you're not tech savvy, you can create a physical kind of journal, inspirational journal. So maybe get a larger sketchbook, get yourself some magazines, cut out some things that inspire you, beautiful scenes or things, and paste them in. Or if you don't want pasting, you can, there's a way, right? You can get a binder and have those plastic sleeves and just put pages in that inspire you, and from the magazines. And so there's a way to make it happen, whether you're technology savvy or not. You can make it work so you have that thing that you can go to. Now make sure you don't put this journal thing in the back of somewhere where you're never going to find it, the back of the closet. Make sure it's out where you know where it is and you have easy access to it and you can refer to it as often as you want. Change positions because I was on my knees and I can only last so long on my knees. Okay, what's the next secret for staying creative? Do you know what it is, Charlie? The next secret is to experiment with new techniques or new mediums or just something you haven't visited in a while. If you're like me, you might have a studio space with all kinds of materials and maybe some you haven't touched in months. So maybe go grab something, pull it out, and for your next session in the studio, you're going to use that and you're going to challenge yourself to use that maybe even right now. So give it a go, at least bring it out. So that's my task for you right this moment, is to go grab that item. And in my mind, I'm already thinking it's the gouache because I bought that and I haven't really used it. So I really want to bring that out and experiment with it. And that will help to boost my creativity. And not just new mediums, but also techniques. So maybe there's a style that you admire that you haven't tried yet. Give it a go. See how somebody created it and give it a try for yourself. Oh no, I see a wasp. You better stay away, you bloody wasp. Oh, it's crawling under the deck. For those of you who don't know, we had a wasp infestation last year, and seeing a wasp crawl under the deck is not comforting to me right now. If you know, you know. Okay, I'm safely inside now. Only stay outdoors until you feel unsafe and then go inside. And I think I got all the creativity I needed from my outdoor experience. So let's move on. The next one I have for you is to set challenges and goals. So whether that's the 100 Heads challenge that you're working on, whether that's you're wanting to work on painting water or how to draw an eye or drawing hands or whatever the technique or thing that you want to master, or maybe it's not even within a special technique that you have, but maybe you just have an interest in ducks. And so you decide, I'm going to start drawing ducks every day. Draw that thing every day if that's what your challenge, but set some parameters and stick to those parameters. Shout out to someone in our community who commented about that they draw a dog every day, and when they feel stuck, they set themselves a 2-minute timer. So I really love that idea. So set yourself a challenge and then have this backup plan for if your challenge, you're struggling with it. So if that means, okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 minutes to do it. Okay, do it. Because I think most of us have 2 minutes in our schedule at some point that we can sacrifice. Yeah, hopefully. So another goal might be is just to actually fill your sketchbook. Maybe you're like me and you start new sketchbooks and you don't fill them, and so you can never do a sketchbook tour because you never finished them. I don't know why I'm that way, but maybe one of my goals will be to finish this sketchbook so I can share it with you guys. Do a sketchbook tour. Maybe it's, doing a time lapse, or maybe it's, finishing a particular painting that you've been working on that's been sitting in the studio for way too long. Set yourself a goal, set yourself a challenge. Let's choose one right now. I'm currently working on the 100 Heads challenge. And so I work on that every evening while, we're watching Netflix kind of stuff. So I still can spend time with my family and not have to sacrifice that time really. So I can kind of multitask. So if you can fit into your schedule where it works for you, then do that. Maybe the challenge and goal is just to open up, and maybe you want to try a scribble sketch every day to get yourself into a new mindset or try something new with it. The next secret I have for you is to connect with others. Connect with other artists or just connect with others. Join groups on social media or in person that fuel your energy, that make you feel energized. So whether that's a group like community artist group, there are some. Why don't you create one if there's not? Maybe you start a plein air group. That's something that's been on my mind. I'd like to start is a group that, you go out and you paint, you're just painting together. So that keeps you kind of motivated. Kind of like joining a group fitness class, it keeps you motivated to work your hardest and actually do it. Whereas if you're just like, I'm gonna go paint outside by myself, like you might feel, maybe that motivates you, maybe not. But when you connect with others in your community as well, even if you're introverted, which I'm more on the extroverted side, so for me it fuels my energy to be with people. So just being with people in general helps. But if you're introverted, you might need to push yourself to join a community of artists and to get yourself out there. And honestly, it's a little intimidating to join the community of artists. Sometimes I feel like they're a little stuck up and snobby about how art should be, and I just don't always feel like that's my vibe. So I just want to be with people who help me feel energized and to create. So you can create your own group or join something within your community. Do a quick search on social media or just on Google to say, like, type in your city and events within the city, and see what events are interesting to you and sign up to go see a free one. Be part of something. Even doing volunteering, that will be really beneficial to push yourself that way, because as you experience life, it inspires you to create. Creation comes from experiencing life, in my opinion. And as I experience life, that's when I want to express and share it with others. So when I'm out in nature and I see a beautiful flower, I'm like, oh, like I want to spend time with this flower on my canvas and try to emulate and portray like the feelings that I have when I'm looking at this. So that's, and I'm saying flower because there's my flower painting behind me. But just anything like that. So not only does pushing yourself into those situations help you with creativity, it can also help you make connections and build your network. Like if you have a goal to sell your art and do this as a career, then it's going to be essential to build a network of people who know that you create things and you never know where that's going to lead. So making those connections by first seeking out the things that interest you and participating in community events, or even online if you're not comfortable being in person. There are always alternatives to be able to stay connected through the technology we have. So I'm really grateful for that. Next up is mindfulness and rest. Why are these going to help your creativity? Because isn't that taking a break from things? How does that actually help? Well, if you're overstimulated all day with work and family and media and advertisements galore just everywhere, your mind is just like, and you need to just clear it. So some things like, for me, yoga, or doing a workout activity, even just dancing for me, like dancing to some fun music while I'm waiting for something to cook, like those kinds of moments, or just even if you can turn off all the sounds and just have like a really quiet moment where you're just relaxing and breathing, that can help your mind like have space for creativity, for sparking ideas. If you just have too much in there, it's overload. And just like I said at the beginning of this video, if you're just tapping on the next idea, video, the next thing, like you're sitting there on Pinterest too long, or you're going through your gallery and you're adding 10 million photos instead of my suggested 5 to 10, you're going to fall into this trap of overload, mental overload, and it's exhausting. It really is. And then it's hard to actually feel that feeling of I'm ready to create and I want to create right now. Just take a moment or two and just like breathe in, hold at the top, and breathe out for 10, and hold at the bottom for 10. I don't know if you can hear that right now, but my laundry just made its little jingly "I'm done" sound. Isn't it funny what sounds they make for those? Okay, so even just that 1 or 2 cycles of that, just imagine giving yourself 2 minutes to do that. So I hope you joined me in that. It's hard not to join people when they're doing things, even when it's not asked of them. I'll watch a show and I'll be like, if they have to hold their breath, I find myself holding my breath. I'm like, I don't have to hold my breath. I'm not jumping in the water right now, but I feel like I have to. So I hope you joined me on that and that you'll take time to rest and regroup, because it's like a cleanse. You need that time to, even if it's 2 minutes, take 2 minutes, take a break, do a little stretch, breather. The next secret I have for you is continuous learning. Keep learning. You think you've mastered something? Keep learning. I don't know everything. I promise I don't. I'm so far away from it sometimes. I feel an imposter just sharing art sometimes, like as if, what do I know about it? And sometimes the more you learn, the more you feel like you don't know. But take a class, take a workshop, take one of I have Skillshare classes if you want to try those and see if they're a right fit for you. You can actually try your first month free if you want to check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. If you don't have the funds to take a class, you can learn here on YouTube. I have some tutorial type paint with me sessions, and I'd like to do more of them. And you can learn from others just by watching and maybe following along. But this kind of education is going to help boost your creativity. So I think learning and having a learning mindset where you know that, where you never let yourself get to a point where you feel like you know everything, and just allow yourself to keep learning and keep that humility, I think is ideal for growth and for allowing that space to be creative and open to opportunities as well that might come your way. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here by having your community connection be also part of this learning. So you might take an art class in your community and give that a try. Maybe there's a medium that you haven't tried and you can join that class and learn how to use that medium in an environment with other people and get to know them and build your network. Boom, 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 killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Next up, create a stimulating workspace. So whether you have a designated workspace in terms of, hey, I have a room that's a studio, or I go to a studio that I rent, or whether that's just a spot on the dining room table, or you kind of have to bring out your studio space and put it away here and there. I remember the time period before I had space that was designated studio room kind of space. I would have a project out, and until the project was done, it was just in the middle of the living room. So kudos to my husband for not being too annoyed, actually, well, at least openly annoyed by me taking over the space, like limited space that we had at that time. Now I'm lucky enough to have a room that's designated studio space, and I'm so grateful for that. I have cabinets and storage, and everything has its place. However, I'm a bit disorganized, so having your space organized neatly so you know what materials you have, you know where to find them, and you have surfaces that are cleared off and well organized will help spark creativity. I don't know about you, but it's like when the kitchen's messy. I have zero motivation to create any meals or baking or anything when there's a messy kitchen. But once that kitchen is clean, I'm like, oh yeah, suddenly all these ideas, I'm like, oh, I could do this or I could do that. Does that happen to you? Because I feel that way about my studio. When I put away everything in my studio, like right now it's a bit messy and it makes it hard to work on a project because you know that you have to clear all these things before you actually get to work on the project. And I think that's one of the reasons why having a space that's not only organized, but also what's in it that helps like stimulate creativity. I want to show you a couple things that's in mind. Welcome to my studio. So like I said, it's messy right now. It is just messy. it's not organized at the moment, and it has product everywhere, materials, sketchbooks, you know, my varnishing brush is sitting out still, you know, what is this, right? Like, this is disorganized. But let's look at what I do keep around me when it is organized. So I have a picture from my engagement many years ago. I have pieces that I really love. So storage units that I really love, like this piece here. It has a big space here, that drawer that rolls out. There's lots of, it's deep shelving, so I can put big pieces of paper. It's a little bit organized in here. I have some sketchbooks and things and some materials that I use for business and all sorts of things. Some of the walls are empty. I don't have them fully. Sometimes I have calendars that are maybe more inspirational. Last year I had a really nice one that I loved. There's Charlie. This here is a painting my grandma created. It was one of her last oil paintings that she created before she moved on to doing watercolor more so, because it was so hard on her lungs back in the day. And that just inspires me. I have this is her easel actually that she used. And so that's a piece that makes this space more special for me. I have this cabinet as well. And inside it has things that boost my spirits in some way. This is a gift when my brother tragically passed away many years ago, given to me from someone. I have my ballet shoes. I have all these pins from jobs that I did. You know, all kinds of things, magazines and books that are art related. And I keep some materials in here. And then, yeah, more materials within here. So just having a space that, you know, brings me joy. So these are some of the things that kind of stimulate creativity. Even the home decor, this might just look like nothing to you, but it's meaningful to me. So meaningful pieces within your space make a difference. And then I have my bachelor's degree certificate. And so having that there for the work that I put in is a good thing to have. And then in the middle, I have this butcher block that I received. My paint trolley, when I have it nice and neat, it really gets me excited to create. Like, look, this is even, shut that, you know. A nice floor that we put in that I love. And also this, oh, don't forget about this. This is the closet. We put in shelving and, you know, I still have space in here. So create an environment that works for you, whatever size that you have, whether that's like I have, like a room that's dedicated studio space, or if you don't have that, maybe you can find more creative ways. Maybe there's a whole video we can do on creative ideas for organizing and creating a stimulating workspace when you don't have the space to do so. That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. Also, by organizing your space, you're gonna know what you actually have, so you don't buy too many duplicates unnecessarily, and you can actually use what you have. So that's an important aspect of it too. And I need to practice what I preach and clean up the studio space. Something you can do right now is set up an art jam, a collaborative painting night. Even if it's just with one other person, it could be really fun. This is something that's on my kind of to-do list that I'd like to eventually get into, see if my husband's willing to do it with me, or maybe a friend, or you can do a whole group where you paint, you start a painting, everybody starts their own painting, works on it for 10 minutes, and then you pass it on to the next person, and you're working on somebody else's painting for 10 minutes. This is a bit scary for me because I think I'm a little bit controlling when it comes to my own artwork, so I don't know how that would work, but I think it's a great way to kind of let loose and to see what happens with what you started creating and how you can add on to other painting pieces. And it also keeps your brain moving because you have to go from one painting and you're not like finishing the whole piece. It's a totally different mindset than when you have a whole painting that's like yours and you're creating it. When you're working with somebody else, you have to take whatever they've created and do something with that and make it work. So there's a whole other set of problems and challenges that could be really fun. So that's something you can set up right now. Maybe you can't do this right this minute, but you can set up an appointment with your friends. See who might be interested in it, in your family, in your circle, and maybe within the community that you've started to build, because you're networking now. Another secret to staying creative is, this is kind of an interesting one. Maybe you weren't thinking about it, but it's to be open to feedback. Let yourself get used to and welcome feedback and not be so hard and, close-minded about criticism. There's this quote by Salvador Dali that I really love. It's, "Have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it." Now, in a way that sounds very negative, but if you have the mindset of, let go of perfection. Of course, you're going to try and build and get better, but let go of that perfectionism and just allow yourself to be free from that, because you're not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. And if you think that you have to be perfect, you're probably not going to create. And I'm speaking from experience here because I have issues with perfection when it comes to my art. Part of that is, growing up and doing really well in art class. And, you have people say like, "Oh, wow, you're so amazing," or that kind of thing. And you get 100% in art and all these things. It doesn't bode well for being able to express or try out new things, or, be able to experiment with materials when you have this super high standard that's impossible to maintain. So let go of that perfectionism, because the fear of having to be perfect is going to stop you from feeling like you can create, because it doesn't have to be your best piece. The piece you're working on right now, that scribble and that doesn't have to be something you're ashamed of. It's a warm-up, it's a practice. Not everything you do has to be at a certain level. Of course, you don't want to just not put effort in. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that perfection that's blocking you from creating. And I've been there, and it stunted my growth as an artist. Now, you have to be careful, because there are going to be trolls out there, and some people are going to just put down your work. And I want you to not take everybody's word to heart and super seriously, but see if there's any truth to the feedback that you receive, because that can be golden. Feedback can be golden. So don't let people bully you, or see what the constructive feedback is. Something that you think, okay, actually, you know what, that actually has been in the back of my mind, and I think that might help me to improve. So try and see it that way. Hopefully you can, but if you need someone to help look at your work and receive positive, constructive, what you can actually do to make it better, that's what you want to look for. That is golden. The last thing I want you to do is, if you have a planner or a journal, good. And if you don't, get one. Get something where you can reflect on a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis. I have my favorite planner that you can go check out this video where I show you everything about that planner and how to use it and everything. It helps me stay on track. It also helps me to see the wins that I experience. I typed out all of the wins that I wrote down on a weekly basis from last year. It helps me feel like I accomplished some things and really good about myself. Thank you guys so much for being here in today's video, joining me on this journey. I hope that some of these tips and secrets will help you to feel creative on an ongoing basis, and that you won't let external factors influence your creativity. Let me know in the comments what your favorite takeaway is from this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time.